I'm John.
And I'm Jennifer, and we've been coming to Forefront for about 5 years.
I grew up in Catholic church. Mother, very religious. Always felt very judgy. Even from a young age, you can kind of feel that, the don't do this, do only this, and it was very stringent rules. As a kid, you always kind of believe what your parents have taught you. So when I was 12, my mother was diagnosed with cancer. Around that time, I was in skater culture, surfing, those types of things, and friends were more important. It was hard to spend those times watching my mother suffer. So it was hard to also believe in God. When I was 15, my father passed away tragically. That really made my spirituality just crushed it. It was gone. I started getting into drugs more, getting into trouble. My mother had been periods of being so sick that my oldest sister took care of me. I started getting this whole resentment towards my mother. I had to grow up without you. I had to grow up without my father. I grew up under a sister who was just too busy for anything because she was working. I very much had this resentment towards religion. I never quite thought about religion until I met Jen. So friends of ours had found Forefront. Jamie and Greg Willis had been talking to us about going. I was still very reluctant about going, but Jen, she dove right in. Her first experience with Forefront, she came home, just talked about how amazing it was. Then they pretty much dragged me in, all of three of them. Man, I walked through the doors and it was like being at home.
We found our people.
Yep. Sorry. Walked through the door, people are just welcoming. You felt like you were at home, just welcomed. It was amazing. Jason's sermon was amazing, and I started going to church a few weeks more and a few weeks more. From then on, it's no turning back. If people have questions about God doing miraculous things, there's so many times. There's so many examples I can point out, but this one was a big pivot in my life.
So I moved from South Carolina and I came here for a fresh start to kind of get away to all the negative behavior, the toxic friendships that I had. I knew they were toxic, and so it was a moment where I was like, I have got to remove myself from this, or I'm not going to stop, and I'm going to continue. It was actually just a few months after moving here that I met him. I began to learn his story, and he didn't have anyone here. I was here. I didn't have anyone here. And we just kind of became each other's family, and we wanted children, and so we had our daughter. We wanted our child to have a different platform growing up than either one of us had as far as church and faith, and we knew that there was something out there, and we didn't want to deny her the opportunity to know and love God when we didn't really know or love him the way that we should have as children. And when I walked in and I sat down and I was just listening to everything, I was consumed with tears because I really felt that feeling that I thought I wasn't gonna ever feel somewhere. And I walked in and I knew that this is the place that I needed to be. Everyone was kind and everyone spoke to you in eye contact, and it was just like we were home. And I loved learning that you just don't have to have it together. You bring all your baggage with you because you're never going to get where you want to be if you wait for all the baggage to be gone. And then right when I was getting ready to be baptized, he said, I want to do this with you, which I thought was amazing because then we were able to be kind of baptized together, and our daughter was there, and our son and friends.
You can be skeptical. You can go in there not believing, and it's okay. It doesn't matter where you are in your journey.
Jesus has shown me true, real, unconditional love. He has shown me patience. He has shown me grace, and in turn has warmed and opened my heart and changed the way that I then treat my husband, treat my children, treat my neighbor, treat the gentleman on the side of the road with a sign that says he's hungry. Like, everything that I do in my life has changed because he chose me.